Hello and welcome, dear human family, to another video update. And I wish to talk with you about the happenings that are going on in Austria, the country where I live. And you may have noticed, it may have come to your attention that the world's first nationwide lockdown for the unvaxxed has been approved in Austria. Oh my goodness. All the work that I've been doing and that many other activists have been doing here in Austria is all for nothing. Oh my god. The elite are winning. The dark occult are taking over our country. Wrong. Very, very wrong. Because of the fact that it's all a distraction. Whatever you see, especially especially on the corporate controlled dark occult media, is exactly the opposite of what is really going on in reality. Okay, that is a principle. Whatever is really going on, and we're here alive in our vessel, in our body, to find out what is going on. But the last place you're ever gonna find out is in the mainstream media, and also the regurgitation and the adding of true facts called the alternative media. It's, as I've often explained, a feedback loop of perception that I also fall victim to and get distracted by. But it's always important to be reminded of that fact. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and also a general update, as I've been quiet for a little bit more than a week now, as I've been taking lots and lots of time for the great work. So I wanna taking loads and loads of notes all the time, working to connect the dots and be prepared for action that I am intending to take. I like to cause a little bit of trouble. I can't keep my mouth shut. And yeah, as I told you in the last video, I'm picking up where I left off with law, with basic law, as I'll go into also in this video. And I'm also working on part 2 of episode 7, that is going to deal with how the Wittika mind virus and its modus operandi interacts with, crucially, with our perception of law, that then has an influence on our perceptions of reality. So those are the sort of little things that I'm dealing with, and yeah, it's been a really good week. I've been having my ups and downs massively also, but I've got a good mechanism which is called ice cold water swimming every day, and also the breathing techniques I'm still doing from Wim Hof, and also meditate. And that's been doing me the world of good. So yeah, let's head right in. Oh my goodness me! Nationwide lockdown. It matters not, as I said, because reality is very different to what it is being portrayed it is. This is what we collectively as humanity and individually as human beings are being asked to face. It's our fears, whatever that is. It's all coming to the surface. Feelings of being stuck, of doubt. What is the world going to look like in the future? We don't know, and that puts us under emotional distress. And I have all the empathy for people, because I'm also going through my own fears. I don't know how things are going to turn out. However, I think a massive part in this transformation that we're going through is that we become comfortable in the uncomfortable, that we be attuned to the unknown, that we don't know, and that we always come back to ourselves and to our own center of being and just face it. Okay, confront what needs to be confronted and realize that fear is wetiko, and wetiko is collective psychosis. And that collective psychosis, as is being shown in the picture by this overreaching hand, that collective psychosis that you can see all around you with pathology and insanity being more and more normalized, that then this collective psychosis serves creation by triggering individuation. So collective and collectivism and collective psychosis actually is what triggers individuation, which is the awakening. To say, well, I'm outside of the norm because this is really going crazy here. You're all crazy. Whatever you do, wearing masks, doing tests, taking the V, I'm not going to have anything to do with it. That's why I make the choice to go with my own inner guiding system. And then we realize that the cause of all the world's problems and all the problems that we have is that we have lost our compass. We don't know where we're going. And now, because that fear is hitting us now, we have nowhere else to go than to anchor ourselves in our heart. And that is what is happening to all of us at the moment. And that's why we're here for each other, even if it's just in the online world. I at the moment also do not have a lot of social contact, which is just the way it is right now, because it looks like I need to be involved in my work and be able to do the great work, which feels very good to me at the moment. The news matrix of distraction I've already talked about, and it's always beautiful to be reminded of that we are being constantly distracted. This is what wetiko, the fear virus, is so good at doing, is distracting us. Like, oh my god, there's a lockdown for the unvaxxed people. Oh my god, it is so unfair. No, it's very simple. They want to make you ill and they want to make profit with you. And if you don't do what your masters are telling you must do, then you have to be locked up. It's very simple. But doesn't mean you have to stay locked in your home, because all they ever do is put this out on their media. It's like lockdown for the unvaxxed, and it's all about your response. That's what truly counts. Okay? And that's why there is no news here. There's nothing new under the sun. We need to find out the solution to all of the world's problems, because in a Gnostic sense, you don't just get a part of the solution. No. With Gnosis and with true enlightenment, with true spirituality and knowledge, you don't only get part of the solution, you get the entire solution and your part in it. No news here. Ancient, timeless, everlasting principles of the natural order and how we can apply them. How we can apply them. When you do action in alignment with those principles, they run. They've got nowhere to hide. And that's where it's all leading us to. What is real? What is natural? And remove our conscious awareness from the artificial. Go into the natural. Remember, principles first. First and foremost, the most important knowledge. Always remember this. What's going on right now? It doesn't matter what they're showing in the news on the screens. Who owns those media organizations and who regurgitates it in the alternative media and keeps us stuck still just observing the shadows on the wall? Let's focus on principles, always on this channel. Let's focus on principles. That's why I do this video, that I myself also focus on principles. I get distracted myself. I don't just say this because I'm some smart ass who's immune to any sort of distractions. No. I'm here to tell you and tell me and tell you and tell me. Always remember this. Okay, principles. Grapes must be crushed to make wine. Diamonds form under pressure. Olives are pressed to release oil. Seeds grow in darkness. Whenever you feel crushed, under pressure, pressed, or in darkness, you're in a powerful place of transformation. Trust the process. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I really love that quote because I went through my pictures today on my laptop computer in order to put together the slides for part 2 of Navigating the Matrix. And I found this, and it was, wow, that's why I'm going through the shits. Yes! Transformation, that's what it is. And also, when it comes to Wetiko, the Wetiko mind virus, okay? Also symbolized by the archetypal figure of Satan. We don't have to cure Wetiko. Wetiko cures us of our bad attitude. That's what it changes. Our attitude changes. Our responsibility is activated in times of distress. So stay calm. Breathe. Or as Wim Hof would say, breathe, motherfucker. Excuse me for being a little bit rude here. Maybe. So, a little bit of information on Navigating the Matrix episode 7 part 2. Belief can be manipulated. Only knowledge is dangerous. Again, we go back to Plato's cave. Belief is to the left, and there can be lots of truth in it about germ theory or all the truth that is presented by the alternative media and all the great people involved in it. But what is the real knowledge about freedom to the right? That knowledge is dangerous. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to look at the information that can take down people that want to tell me when I should go to bed. How can we tell daddy who thinks he's daddy to shut the fuck up? I'm grown up. I do what I want when I want. How do we do that? That's the sort of knowledge that I am studying day by day by day, hour by hour. And there's a lot of time that I invest. I'm not only intuitive and everything is in flow all the time. No, I have to invest a whole lot of time to get to the conclusions that I get to. I have to work hard, because I also think that everything good, everything proper good, comes from hard work. Maybe that is also a belief system, but I get into the flow when I work really hard also. Alright, anyways. What I'm looking at right now, okay? This is gonna be part of Navigating the Matrix episode 7 part 2. Looking at the Rothschilds again. We all know this quote, don't we? But looking at it on a deeper level. Because there's nothing new under the sun. Are those dark occultists giving us clues about how we can change the human predicament that we find ourselves in? Nathan Rothschild apparently said in his time, "I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire on which the sun never sets. The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, and I controlled the British money supply." Yes, we all know that they own the banking system. Quote unquote, they control. I don't know why I've got the past tense on here the whole time. They control the money supply internationally. International bankers from the international banking syndicate that was founded by the Rothschild family. And to be in control of the medium of energy and information exchange. And we've all come across this, haven't we? In our awakening journey, how the central banking system works. This is what this is all about. Everything else is distraction. It's always been about the robber barons, those who loot all of society. And we've had, so it's nothing to do with all the distraction that is going on, okay, with PCR and whatever. No, we've had the biggest transfer of wealth in human history, more than the one in 2008. We are being robbed of all the wealth in the world. Is being transferred to those who call themselves our masters, those who are playing Monopoly with us. Their matrix that they control, and they teach us a learning lesson, okay? This matrix control system has two sides of the coin. On one side, it is a control system, complete control system, with all the rape and murder that goes along with it all the time. Massive casualties for these psychopaths that thirst, that Wetiko spirit. Those people are Wetiko psychopaths. They have the Wetiko mind virus embodied the most. And they are thirsty upon thirsty to gain more, because they're a bottomless pit. They want more till they've got everything. And in that process, they destroy the entire planet. That's where it goes. That's where this journey leads. They destroy all of nature. They destroy all of the natural ecosystem and all of the natural feeling of life, because they hate life, because they invert it to evil. It's when we don't set boundaries and confront that evil, then it will take us over. That's why when you look at the etymology of evil, it has to do with overstepping boundaries, and that's where the law kicks in. Natural law. So they control almost everything. We know that. They control all of the world's resources. Those have been monopolies for centuries. The coal industry, the steel industry, the diamond industry, all the world's resources, it's owned by families, the billionaires. They control all of those resources. They themselves are massive materialists, the rich and famous, and they go by the law of might is right. Don't give a fuck about your natural law. Ha 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 ha, they laugh at you. But the question is, have we got it in us to have the last laugh? Because they control almost anything, and they most certainly control the money supply. Which makes the world run, which makes the world tick. It's the money that makes the world go round throughout this entire hierarchically structured pyramid where we, the so-called public society, are at the bottom of. And we're the ones keeping this pyramid up and running. They control the money supply, but they do not control the law. After years and years of study, this is my latest conclusion I've come to. They control almost everything, but they cannot control the law. And real law, and that is the highest knowledge on that information pyramid that I show you often. The highest knowledge that they hide from us is the knowledge about right and wrong. That's why along the monopoly board that they make us go round and round and round in circles, okay, and stands back in amazement. I couldn't have predicted a lockdown. What? A lockdown again? Yes, because it's a feedback loop that keeps repeating with the same excuses as every year. Completely unfounded, completely without evidence. They just make claims without evidence, and that's where we've got them. With the law. They get away with it the whole time because we do not establish our law. As I said, when you look into the etymology of evil, it means transgressing boundaries. So when we set our law, and that can be a notice, for example, to the president. Oh, you want to send me into lockdown? It costs you 369 million euros plus 369 euros for every minute, as long as this trespass on my property called my body, mind and spirit that creates this reality. My mind projects the reality that I experience. That's what it costs you. If you cannot show proof of claim, and I make the claim that I am sovereign, you try and disprove me. If you do not write back after 2 weeks, I give you 14 days to take a little think about. if you're my mummy and daddy, Mr. President, and if you ain't got an answer, you're in tacit agreement with what I say, 'cause I am the law. And then your lockdown is not of any interest to me as a sovereign being. They can control the money supply, but they cannot control the law. And you, listening to this, listening to me, the law wants to be expressed by you too. The highest knowledge. That's why they've got the whole monopoly board, and they've monopolized the entire world on a system of commerce to completely control us. And they write their laws, their legal laws, where you haven't even signed a contract. They just go with tacit agreement from you. Oh yeah, he's given tacit agreement. They've all given tacit agreement. So we'll just move on. Till we get to total control. Until you set your law. My law is set. And when they trespass after that, they completely lose immunity. And karma falls back on these elite psychopaths. And that's what they're most afraid of. So that's a little bit of a hint what episode 7 part 2 is going to be about. It's going to be about law, reality, and perception that creates reality, and how we can change our perception. All about freedom. The usual, isn't it? So, looking forward to sharing that with you. And I shall look forward to going public soon again with this information. Drop a note in the description below what you think about these ideas, because I, quite honestly, am not interested to go through the news. It doesn't change anything. Always the same solutions that are gonna get us through. Heart anchor intelligence. And we get to when we stand to our principles and we act according to our principles. And then I don't give a damn what puppet they put on the throne and who has created the money system, because I take that money system back also when I can become a millionaire by making my claim. How about that? Taking the world back and flipping the whole dynamics. Because the best way to defeat your enemy is not by using force against the enemy, but use the force being applied on you by the enemy. Use it for your good against him. And their biggest weapon is the money system. That's what keeps the whole scam going, because people have to pay rent, people have to pay bills, and suddenly people see you doing an action where you say, well, don't give a damn, my value is 369 million euros and you've got no proof of claim and you will have to pay that. As a human being, you're liable, and you're not allowed to do that because I've just set my law. It's very powerful. And what I've learnt is the reason why we're in the situation that we're in the world is because the men and women have not come home, have not expressed themselves like man and women. Because instead, and this is how they keep us in this vicious cycle, we just complain. Oh, look what they're doing there. And Australia is getting more fascist, and the restrictions are coming here again. Fuck the complaining. Instead of complain, make a claim. And that's how you get them. It's as simple as writing a notice, and send that to the principal of a school. A lot of people in England have done that with a notice of liability. And that action, you set your law. They're informed, and now they cannot say anymore that they have not been informed. And that's where the morality on which this universe is founded upon kicks into gear. And if they're complete psychopaths, they continue on with their actions, but it will catch up with them eventually. This is the power of the law. Looking forward to speak to you next time again. Have a very good time. All the very best. Bye bye.